Draymond, what worked about that big lineup that you guys closed with? And had you ever, in your mind, imagined that's going to be a closing lineup for you guys?
I did. I did think that was a possibility to be a closing lineup or a starting lineup or a middle of the game lineup. But I think what worked, we had proper spacing. We were able to get a lot of stops. We switched a lot, kept bodies on bodies. And then that group was really able to come up with the rebounds. So down the stretch, they had one shot. If they didn't make it, we were off to the races. So I think defensively it was really good for us. And then everybody just found the proper spacing to allow us to make the plays. And, we made the plays down the stretch, and obviously Steph was incredible. Jimmy made a couple huge plays down the stretch, including the shot. Al, big shot. J.K. was hawking Murray still, so that steal and finish he came up with was great. So we had, we was able to put it all together there at the end with that group.
Draymond, Steph was pretty emotional. He missed that three, and he was encouraging the crowd to get going. He says, I don't like to shoot free throws with the crowd quiet. What kind of player is he that he can just kind of rise to the occasion and the fans can fuel him like they did tonight? I mean, he's obviously does it himself, but the fans too.
Yeah, he loved the moment. That's just who he's been since I've known him. The bigger the moment, the more he rises. He's this quiet guy. We all know Steph, right, how he is. But he loved the show. I think, and so anytime it's a show to be put on, he's going to do it. And, he did that tonight in a major way.
Draymond over here, you and Steph have been together for
Look at
over
you.
a decade.
The hell you been?
What's up?
Wow, good to see you.
Now, if you can remember my name, then I'll really be
Nate.
impressed. All right.
All right, like am I idiot? You guys just think I'm dumb. It's crazy. You want a last name too, Duncan? Huh?
That's right. All right. You and Steph have been together for over a decade. Jamal Murray and Jokic have been together for that long. Al and Butler are great, great vets as well. Can you tell me about what it was like, just the mental side of the game in crunch time with all that experience on the floor?
Yeah, I think just having that much experience, you just kind of know what to do, and there's no panic. I think that's the most important part. You get down those last few minutes of the game or in overtime, a lot of times people get sped up, and oftentimes that's due to the pressure, and lack of experience. And, we don't lack that at all. And so everybody, with the familiarity of being in those moments, we knew exactly what we needed to get to. And, that's why you want experience and on your team for moments like that. Moments nobody was unfamiliar to the moment for us, and I think that was as big as anything. So we were locked in, able to make the plays we needed to make. But the experience in moments like that helps a ton.
50 points and 10 threes for Aaron Gordon. You played him in the playoffs a few years ago. How have you seen his game and particularly his shot changed?
He's improved a ton. I've known AG for a long time now. I used to have grind week, and I used to do grind week here in Oakland, or not here, but in Oakland. He was young. He used to come every year, and you just watch him improve and improve. He got to Denver, and he was the missing piece to a championship. When they got him, it kind of solidified all of their lineups. To his credit, he's continued to work, continued to get better and better and better. Like you said, 50 points tonight, 10 for 11 from three. Like they weren't just like spot up threes either. Like he had a couple of them off the dribble, a couple of them like people pinning in for him. They were all different threes, and he was knocking them down. But I'm not sure if he shot 40% last year, but he was shooting a mess out of it for quite a while in the season. So the improvement is consistent. It's not like it's just out of nowhere. Like he's consistently got better and better and better. And you got to tip your hat to him. He was amazing tonight. But he's he's been that steady force. Obviously, Joker is who he is, right? Obviously, Jamal is who he is, but he's been that steady force outside of those two guys for this group, and that's the reason they're champions and continue to be one of the better teams in this league.
Steph said that down the stretch and in overtime, you guys weren't really, nobody was calling any plays. It was just, you're just kind of making it up as you go. Is that, how unusual is that just for you guys and for in the NBA too?
It's not very unusual for us. We hardly ever call stuff in my career. Steve usually calls something, but we just go. And, again, just going back to the experience, right? Like, we didn't need to call anything. We kind of just played off each other. You saw the matchup we wanted, get to that, get to space, and then let the next guy make the play. We have 5 guys on the court that can make a play. And so somebody's open, you move the ball and allow that guy to make the next play. And that's what we did. I don't think you get to that point in the game, you got to let your greats be great. And we got the ball to Steph, we got the ball to Jimmy, and they made plays over and over again. So, and they did the same thing, right? Like, they got the ball to AG, they got the ball to Joker, they got the ball to Jamal. And we were able to get a couple stops that we needed, but nobody's calling a bunch of plays right there. You get the ball in the hands of your better players, and they're going to take you home.
Draymond, you're obviously very aware of what's going on around the league, and for talking about today's news on the gambling, and for many years, the league and all sports leagues distanced themselves from gambling. How inevitable do you think something like this was, given the partnerships with gambling companies, and what was sort of your reaction to the news today?
My reaction to the news, I was shocked. I woke up to that news, and I overslept for shoot-around. So when I woke up, I couldn't really check in on it because I was trying to get here. And, I got here, and they're like, man, you see everything that happened? I'm like, not quite. Like, I only knew about Terry. But, I think when, you take a look, like, the business is the business. I'm not going to sit here and condemn the league for partnering with gambling sports betting companies. Like, the business is the business. And, it is what it is. I think, I wish everybody well. It's a tough moment for the individuals involved. It's a tough moment for the league. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, y'all partner with a gambling company. You open a can of worms. Like, that can of worms can be open with partnering with gambling companies or not. Partnering with gambling companies ain't make gambling more accessible to us. The accessibility is what it is. If you're an American or you live in America and you live in states where gambling, sports betting is legal, it pops up right on your phone. Whether the league is partnering with the company or not ain't changing nothing. So I think those partnerships are going to continue to grow. But I still live here, and it, Governor Newsom, I wish I can get on my phone and bet on a football game. But, that's just the nature of the world we live in, so we're not going to go condemn a Facebook executive because some of their stuff pops up on Polymarket or, any of those, So I'm not going to sit here and, our league has done an incredible job of growing this game. Partnerships come when you grow the game. And for all of us, from ownership to players, it grows the pot. And I haven't heard anyone complain about the pot growing. So I'm not going to sit here and act like the league the league been partnered with Bud Light forever. They ain't start me to drinking beer, So, it's unfortunate for the guys involved. I'm praying for them and wish them well. But sports betting is going to be around. And, the partnerships will keep happening as they should. But the accessibility is the accessibility. And the Golden State Warriors is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. I don't have a Mercedes-Benz. I got a nice Kia deal, which has been absolutely incredible to me, you know. But my point, there's that, right? Like, yeah. And it's going to keep changing. Like, more and more states is going to become legal, you know. So that's not going away. If anything, it's going to go further in the direction that it's already headed. And so I don't think any of it is, man, the league start taking the spot. I don't think so. I think sometimes people get in unfortunate situations, and everyone makes decisions. I'm not saying that those people made the decisions. I don't know. I'm not getting off into that. But I just know that those partnerships are going to keep growing as they should. It ain't changing the accessibility. The accessibility is what it is. We don't get a free FanDuel or Fanatics. We don't get a free Fanatics sportsbook password. We just don't. Like, the accessibility is what it is. So I can't blame that on the league. That's just what it is.